Hi everybody and welcome to A Better You, your one-stop shop for everything self-improvement, self-discovery and self-care. I'm Emily and today I am responding to a viewer request, and this is a viewer request for a review of the HelloTalk app. The HelloTalk app is available on Google Play and iTunes, and I will include links to it in the description bar below. It essentially is a social form of language learning. So it allows you to go in and you can take individual courses on different words in different topic areas, and you can also chat with native speakers who are learning your native language and correct each other as you go. I tested out the app over the Christmas period for a couple of weeks, and I tested out both the free and the VIP membership. And within this video, I'll share my findings and who this app is suitable for and who might suit a different app. As stated before, you can download the HelloTalk app in Google Play or in the iTunes Store. I will also leave a link in the description below. Once you move into the HelloTalk app, the first thing that you'll be prompted to do is to actually just sign up. You can sign up straight with your Google account, which makes it nice and convenient and nice and quick to log in, which I quite liked. The next step is to pop in your birthday, where you're from, what language your native language is, and what language you are trying to learn. I think it would be also nice if they added Kanji, but I will say that of any app I review, and most of them don't do Kanji. But again, that adds even more value when an app does add that particular language. The next thing that will happen is that you will be shown many different people who you might partner with. You can also create a profile so that people might be able to just get in touch with you instead. And you will receive a welcome email just showing you around the site and teaching you how to use the different tools in messages. For example, the translation tool, which allows you to translate messages from your learning partners. This actually brings me to my first feedback point for the app, in which on the basic plan, that is the free plan, you will only get 5 translations a day. Now personally, I have friends in Turkey and I seek to make online friends in the other languages that I am learning and that I am trying to speak. So I make those friends usually through Instagram, and I use the Google Translate service when I'm in an earlier stage of the language to translate between us and to write my sentences back. And you still learn new languages that way. You can still get corrections as long as you have that relationship with a friend. But it's also free for as many translations as you want. So I do think only 5 free translations a day on the app prompts you to use Google Translate, in which case there's not really a benefit of this app over Instagram for that social language learning. So I do potentially think that more than 5 translations would probably be better from a free perspective. When you first start using the app, you are warned what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and specifically it is prompted that this is not a dating service. Now, personally, as I am a married woman with 2 kids, this is really important, and it's extraordinarily important that it is kept very much language focused, that there does not become that tone there, because obviously I wouldn't want to make my husband feel uncomfortable, and I certainly don't want to tinge my language learning by somebody else's approaches. With this in mind, on one of my particular chats, I was asked to exchange Instagram details and to speak on Instagram, and to be honest, that kind of did put my back up a little bit, just because I'm not really sure why you would go outside the app if you've been on there purely for learning languages. That said, most of the people that I was speaking to also had the same approach as me. They just wanted to learn languages, so I think this is the exception rather than the rule. Personally, when I was using the app, I found that I did use Google Translate now and again to go and get some translations and to make sure that the sentences that I were writing were thereabout at least understandable. And so again, I'm not really sure that the app added anything extra sometimes, because again, I would already do that with Instagram and you still learn those sentences. And if you have language learning partners on Instagram, then again, they would still correct you. So I struggle to see the extra benefit of this. This is also coming from somebody who is strongly introverted. And personally, my languages are part of the thing that I like to do when I'm on my own, as a hobby that I can spend time on, that I can explore the language and the culture of, that I can read in my target language. And I think that in itself makes social language learning apps in general, not just HelloTalk, challenging. And I found that particularly the case because by its sheer nature, I compartmentalise my own language learning. That is, I do it only at certain times of the day. And I found that to be a real struggle. So I was getting constant notifications from the app. And if I put the notifications off, then obviously you're not responding to people. And so that social connection is a struggle to form. And I think that time difference will also contribute to that. The demanding nature of this app in that social context was probably its biggest downside from my perspective. As an introvert, I didn't like this way of language learning. Now that sounds somewhat counterintuitive because obviously we learn languages to communicate with people, to talk to people. But personally, I learn languages to talk to people that I already know for the most part. Personally, one of the key reasons I learn languages as well is to learn more about history and to be able to access original texts. So again, the social aspect is not that key reason for me, and I found this app sometimes a bit annoying and it's sometimes a bit overbearing because of that. I like to be able to choose when I'm learning my languages. I like to be able to choose when I'm being interrupted to learn those languages, and this could be quite a distracting app. So let's talk the basic versus premium. So there is a basic membership for HelloTalk, which personally I think could be enough technically, and there is a premium membership. The difference between the two is that on the basic membership you only get 5 translations a day, which, as per my previous point, somewhat questions why wouldn't you just use another social media app. You can still meet people who speak your target language, who are native speakers, and to be honest, it's more likely that they will then speak in their native tongue, as opposed to people on this app who might want to be learning your language, so might be speaking in your language. From a premium perspective, you do get unlimited translation, so I can see the benefit in that. But if I could get something for free simply by using Google Translate, I'm not sure if I'd really pay for that service. I'm not sure that's worthwhile. From a wider perspective, if you are on the basic plan, you can only learn 1 language, whereas the premium one allows you 3. Again, personally, I think 3 is too little, let alone 1. But I suppose this is quite unique in some ways because I think many people do just start with learning 1 language. So I think for a lot of people that 1 language might be enough. You can't see your visitors on the basic plan, whereas you can on the premium plan. Personally, I don't really care on that point, if I'm really upfront, and that's purely because I had so many people reaching out to me that I never needed to initiate a conversation on the app, in which case any of the things around how many people you can contact somewhat become pointless, really, from a personal perspective, purely because people got in touch with me. But that just might have been the luck of the draw. You get 9 times more profile exposure on the premium plan. I did actually notice a quite dramatic difference in how many people got in touch with me when I upgraded to premium. So you could definitely see that profile exposure. As I previously stated, however, I already found the app quite distracting, and I already found that I had a lot of people in touch with me. So I think by the time I stopped using the app, I had around 35 chats on the go, and none of them had I initiated. Now, to be honest, at that stage, it's difficult to keep track of who you're speaking to. It's difficult to keep track of their backgrounds. And so really have any kind of meaningful conversation with people, which again, then I come back to the point that surely a general social media account is enough and would probably get you deeper friendships with those native speakers. You can start 5 new chats a day on the basic plan, where you can start 25 new chats a day on the premium. I will refer back to my previous point. I don't really think being able to initiate 25 chats a day will get you further in your language, because all you'll really be doing if you're initiating those chats are those starter greetings. So I don't think it's helpful to start a lot of new chats each day, unless potentially you're at a beginner level, in which case it might be that you're just practicing those greetings over and over again. You can change your language every 48 hours on the basic plan. You can change it anytime on the premium plan. And I suppose this would potentially give you the freedom to think about changing to your other languages, but then I wonder if you'd lose those chats that you had in the previous language. On the premium app, you can search by gender, you can see nearby users, and you can hide your visits to other users' pages. So those were the other reasons why you might move to premium. From a personal perspective, I think I would struggle if I were using the app longer term to find value if it didn't have more translations on the basic version. So I think I would end up having to pay for the premium version. But whether I think that premium version is good value or not is quite another thing. I personally think that the only valuable part of it is the unlimited translations, and Google Translate will allow you unlimited translations. So I really don't think that that should be a chargeable service when it is freely available all over the internet. You start to write to a language partner, you'll find that one of the features is that they can correct your sentences. Now, I thought that this was the best feature about the app because, to be honest, you can just then start to create your own sentences. It really prompts you to be more creative, to not rely on Google Translate. So I really liked that correction aspect. And I think the benefit of that as well is that when it's a native speaker, it means that it's more colloquial, it means that it's more likely the language that is used on a day-to-day basis, which is not necessarily the formal version of the language, as we all know. The final feature of the app are language games. These are like any other language app, to be quite frank. So these are word-based, it is vocabulary building. What I would say to the games is that the games were all based on single words. So for example, they would have you guess the spelling of lemon or guess the spelling of orange in your target language. If you were a beginner, there is some value in this. If you are anything beyond a beginner, there probably isn't. So you should be learning your vocabulary in context, seeing it in sentences, because knowing lots of words ultimately will not get you very far in a conversation. You need to know how to string those words together and make sentences. So ultimately, the game part of it, ultimately the app wasn't about the games, so it's absolutely fine that the games are less developed, but certainly they were less developed. This kind of feature is offered in different applications, for example Mondly and for example in LingQ, but personally I'd say that they were to much better effect. Now, those are chargeable services as well, so you would end up paying money for those for the better parts of the apps, and yet your money is going to unlimited translations, your money is going to be able to string sentences together, your money is being able to let you learn languages when you want to learn them, and to be honest, your money is going to more than just being social with native speakers, which you can do because of the power of social media on any different app now for free. And I just don't really see the value in this particular service because of that. I would like to see them up their basic version to unlimited translations, and I would like to see them improve their premium benefits to make it worthwhile the money paid. And that is the HelloTalk app. Hopefully you can take this in the spirit it is intended, and that is as a guideline review on who the app might suit. I can certainly see some benefits from the app, and I think if I were a more extroverted person or a more social person, then certainly it would be a very useful tool for learning languages. As an introvert and as somebody who compartmentalizes my language learning, I sometimes found the app a touch overwhelming from a time perspective. But by the same token, I think for some people it could be a really useful language learning app. If you do have any thoughts on the app or any other app that you would like me to review, then please do let me know in the comments below. Please do like the video and share it with anybody that you think might find it useful, and please do subscribe. We do loads of language learning content on this channel alongside some self-care content, some self-improvement content and self-discovery content thrown in there as well. Look forward to seeing you next Thursday.